I'll record. All right. So the first thing, director's report. Go through this. We had a couple things happening. 619 sold. You may have seen it. It is about to sell, which is across the street from Unitaza. Bobby Crittenden had it at one time. It was the Magic Touch Beauty Salon. And Alejandra Lewis is buying it. And she runs another beauty salon. So Kevin, we are going to become like the Reading Wedding District. We are the Dayton Beauty District. We have a plethora of beauty shops. One nice thing, I talked to her and said, we have nobody doing nails, no mani-pedi. So she's going to be doing that and also doing makeup and stuff for weddings. So it will have more services than what we have. So that'll be good. The dentist building.
Also the Alejandra district.
Yes, Alejandra district. Yeah, it's going to be confusing. I'm looking for Alejandra's business. Which one? And Alejandra Lewis, her parents came from Honduras. So, the Honduran one. The odds of having two Honduran women, though Allie was raised here in Kentucky, but to have two women of Honduran descent in businesses across the street from each other, both named Alejandra. Yeah, that's pretty rare, but that's good. Other things that are happening, the dentist building, the dentist office closed with COVID. The dentist that was in there was like in his 80s and decided he no longer wanted to stick his hands in people's mouths anymore, and it was a good time to retire. So that was good. Amy Gray, a name I think you probably know, has bought it. She owns an advertising agency in Bellevue and invests in properties. And she's going to clean it up. It has some plumbing issues, and we'll just leave it at that. And since I don't think any of you guys, so we'll just leave it at that. It's had some plumbing issues. But she's going to buy it and work on fixing it up this summer. So that's good.
Does she have plans for it, or is she just hoping to lease it out?
She may move one of her businesses in there.
Okay.
It's probably going to be professional offices.
Oh, good.
It's probably the highest and best use. So some of the things, next Tuesday, you'll get to see, I think, part of my State of the City address. And I just kind of want to go over some of the things that are happening. I'll go to get with you first. 301 6th Avenue, Brian Boland's building. Richard Hunt will be moving Roebling Point Bookstore in there, probably in April. Across the street, a podiatrist is moving in there. Coming down to across from Trotta's, it's a building we call Millie's Drapery because that was Millie's Drapery 20 years ago. Jay Millard is moving a financial services firm in there. So that's moving along well. I peeked into your building today. It looks like they're stocking things up and getting ready to go. So hopefully that will be January-ish.
It is January.
I know. I'm going ish, you know.
No, they should be able to take over from us beginning of February. Okay. The only thing we have left to do now is test the hood.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how long of a process that is, but that's kind of the step we're at. All the plumbing's done. They painted the floor again today in the kitchen, and that's it.
All right.
Now, that doesn't mean they can open in February. That's very much up to them.
Okay.
So
that's fine.
But they can.
I will let them.
Which building do you own, Nathan?
It's 526. It's the gray building between Rose Room and the fire department.
Okay.
That's where Takarina Gal is going to go.
Oh, okay. Great.
So that's going there. Across the street is the old laundromat, which is for sale. My personal opinion, the price is reaching.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, I'm not. I just will say that.
How much do they want for that?
275.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it does have 3 parking spaces, but surrounded, you know, it's not really helpful.
The apartment situation upstairs is very strange. Like the apartment is divided from its own bedroom by a public space. Like the stairwell divides it, so you have to leave the apartment to get to your bedroom. It's a very odd configuration up there. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's not ideal.
Not ideal. So we talked about 519. I would talk about the old candy store next to the Marathon Station, next to 2 doors east of you. I find it interesting. Rent is now $800 a month for that. Oh, good. There's Laura. Hi, Laura. So we're gonna on this. So, hi there.
Sorry, I was busy cooking and I forgot.
It happens. Okay, we kind of. So, I was just going down the street. You always ask about 301 Roebling Point. We make an announcement at the council meeting. They'll be going in there in probably April. So that's all moving
Okay.
forward. 619, you may have seen that on Facebook today. Scott was talking about it. Someone is looking to buy that. It's just about closed. So they've even started doing some painting. So that's pretty confident on that. So that's going well. The old dentist building has sold. I was talking about the old candy store. The rent on that in the 4 years I've been here went from $500 a month to $600 a month. And now they're asking like $850 a month for that space. So I'll see if they get it. I mean, they've cleaned it up and it's looking better. So just kind of interesting how rents are increasing. So that will go there. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Last night, if you decided to watch the Dayton Council meeting, I've been working on a COVID financial assistance program. I was originally, you know what, I'm just going to share the screen and kind of run through it real quick. So let me, oops, give me a second here online. Keep on forgetting I have to have it open first. But I could do that. I'm doing awful today. I guess that's still not a PDF. Oh, that's what. Okay. Cancel. Hide. Okay, I can't do that. God, I was doing awful here today. Okay, here we go. All right. So COVID financial assistance program, talked about some of the things we're doing. We talked about some of this last month. COVID financial assistance program, Dayton dining dollars. These were the changes we made. All eligible business may apply to receive $1,000 to use for mitigating the impacts of COVID. Form is a grant. We're not going to ask anybody to replay. It's being funded through CARES Act. And we've set aside approximately $40,000 for this, so we can do 40 things. Eligibility requirements, nothing out of the ordinary, no publicly traded business. You have to have been in business prior to July 1st, 2020. Sorry, Kevin. And you have to have a valid City of Dayton occupational license and be up on your taxes. So we have a committee that's going to approve these, and the application should begin on February 8th. and close on March 22nd, or if all the funds are allocated. We talked last month about the Dining Dollars program. This was also improved. This might be interesting, Kevin. We're going to send postcards out as coupons to all the addresses in Dayton that can be used as a coupon for participating businesses. So it acts as $5. I'm printing it on cardstock with a velvet coating on there. Hopefully that will prevent somebody from trying to print them off on their HP LaserJet. We'll pick them up from the participating restaurants. It's mainly for the restaurants. We'll ask for a name and an email address, and then we'll reimburse the restaurants. The weird thing is I had to budget it as if I would have 100% redemption. So there's probably $10,000 extra in there that's budgeted in the, we moved the funds over from the CARES Act to the Economic Development Act. If I got 20% redemption rate on a coupon, that would be amazing. But that's, that's kind of what I'm targeting for. So that was what was approved. Before, we had a bigger award for restaurants since they were shut down in November. It seemed several on council were adamant about that they wanted to be more equitable. So it's $1,000, fill out the application. There's a point in there where you make the case of how you were impacted by COVID-19 that you're eligible. And I'm saying, if you want to provide documentation of this, please do. Some of our businesses, it's not unusual. Let me stop the share. Run out of their cash register. They're small. So I noticed that I learned this when I was doing the governor's program and helped restaurants out with that. And some of them had a problem finding the documentation that the state asked for. And so knowing that, I try to make it as low doc as possible and just go on from there. So that's what's going on there. It'll be up for an approval on next Tuesday. So I hope by the following Friday, I can have the grant application open. So that's what's going on there. So
can I ask a question just out of curiosity? I'm curious just how it works. So someone brings the coupon to the business, and then does the business keeps track of how many people use it at their establishment, and then you pay the business back?
Yep. So the business will come and save the cards, put them in an envelope. $5 has to be on a $5 purchase, $5 or more purchase. And, then I will come by once a week to the businesses, pick up the envelopes, and then we'll go through the process, the speedy process, the city of Dayton, of issuing a check. We'll turn around within a week. So that'll work there. So the card becomes a coupon, and the businesses turn the coupon into the city for redemption. I'm capturing the email addresses, which I will then add to the Dayton e-newsletter mailing list. If they want to, if I get past their junk folder, they can choose to subscribe or unsubscribe. So we'll do that. So that's another point out there that we can go through and do it. So
And the $1,000 thing, is that for every business?
What?
The $1,000, is that for every business?
Every business that has an occupational license is up on their taxes and all fees and licenses, and is not publicly traded, that is affected by COVID, is able to apply for the grant. There are 40 grants available. It's kind of on a first come, first served basis, and you'll have to make a case that you were affected by COVID. There are some businesses who have told me they don't feel they were that affected by COVID. Ketchum Flooring, they've had a banner year. A lot of people were home and looked at their floors and said, we got to change our floors. And they've been busy as except for some personal protective equipment and stuff like that. And plastic to tape up, that type of stuff. They've been busy. Other businesses have reached out and said, thank you, but I'm doing fine. Somebody else needs this more than me. So I'm unsure how many will apply.
I was just asking for places like the Brow Bar and the old Split Ends
Yeah.
and people like that who are completely shut down.
Well, they have to be an active business. The Bravo Bar is open. The salon, salon?
The Brow Bar Salon.
Yeah, it's open.
It wasn't last year though.
Yeah, it was. It's been open for 4 years.
No,
Oh,
what I mean is that they were shut down during the pandemic for a time. So
Oh,
are people like that allowed to apply for that $1,000?
all you have to do is have had an occupational license in the city of Dayton by the start of the fiscal year, July 1st.
And they email you or the city?
There'll be an application that will go out, and we'll be sending it to all those who have active occupational licenses, and they can fill out the application, drop it off. You'll be able to download it off the website and fill it out. So yeah. So you'll have to come in and fill out the application. There's standard information that we need. Some of it we need for because it's over $600, we have to do a 1099 on it, stuff like that. But so anyone who's ever filled out a CCAP application would find it very familiar. So that's what we're doing there.
So the details for the COVID relief grant, that's basically that's overseen by council's committee for that purpose.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What about Dayton dining dollars? Is that also being overseen by that committee, or is that something? Okay. So we don't actually, as a board, we don't have to worry about the details for that. I have a lot of questions about how the Dayton dollars thing would work. For instance,
I'll try to answer you.
Can I and my best friend go around and collect everybody's and then treat ourselves to dinner for free?
You could use one per purchase.
It's okay. So it is one per visit, or one per person ever?
One per person per visit. Yeah, you can only use one. Only one person can use one at a time.
Okay.
You can't get 20 of them. And I've thought about that. What does that mean if Nathan went out and talked to his neighbors and, got 5 or 6 of these and went out to 5 or 6 restaurants and used them? Okay.
No, I wasn't thinking going to each day. I was just thinking about the scenario where somebody says, "Hey, are you using your Dayton dining dollars?" And then, takes them and their girlfriend out for a meal in the city or whatever.
No, it's $5 for each,
And then with the, being obviously voluntary, how are people going to know which restaurants are taking them and which aren't? And
it will be on the back of the card.
Okay, so there'll be a list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the back of the card, it will show the good point. On the back of the card, it will show the participating restaurants. We're looking to having an expiration date around June 1st. So you can use it up until June 1st. And, I've come through and asked myself, what if, I'm going to pick on you, Nathan, since you brought it. Nathan went and got 10 of them, and, he went every week and used the card to get a coffee at Alejandro's. Okay. That's $5 of business, and a visit, and you've had to spend more than 5. So, one of our goals in this is especially those residents who are new at Tapestry and Gateway and other places. And many people in Dayton, it's surprising me, don't know the businesses that we have. So if that gets somebody who lives, in the 300 block of 6th Avenue and mainly just drives to the bridge and doesn't drive around, oh, I didn't know these businesses were here. So, and a lot for Tapestry, the way the street is currently configured, it drops them off at O'Fallon. And so they live up at Tapestry and may very seldom drive through Dayton. They get to the stoplight at O'Fallon, take a left-hand turn and go back in. So this is an opportunity to try to get some of them, or any resident, get a chance to go to a business. Will some people try to game the system? Yeah. Okay. What's the negative outcome for that? Our businesses get $5 and they serve somebody. You know, that's what the goal of the program is.
I was a little bit worried about somebody taking their dining dollars to a non-participating restaurant and then becoming pissed at the restaurant for not participating or not taking their Dayton dollars or
It will
whatever.
stay. It says on the back of the card.
Good.
I can bring it back up, but in the back of the card, I've talked to most of the restaurants. This is optional. They don't have to participate. You know, if a restaurant decides I don't want to participate, you know, she will participate. But let's say Alejandra said, "Nah, I don't want to do this," but she's talked about it. She's going to, and that's fine. She just won't be on the list, and she'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't take that." This is very similar. It's Laura, you were around when we did the Kentucky Eat on Kentucky 8 thing.
Yes.
There was a discount associated with the card.
It was like 10%,
8%,
and if you got 8%, that's right. And if you got all of the stamps from all the restaurants, you got a T-shirt.
Yes, and if you want a T-shirt, come see me.
You still have T-shirts?
Yes.
I still have my green ones.
If you like one of those T-shirts, I still have them. Every now and then somebody comes in my office and I'm like, "You win a T-shirt." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Shit, just take it." But we did that, and that was a bit odd that we did 8%. It was a little too cutesy, in my opinion. Is that required the use of somebody using a calculator to figure out what 8% of it was? And then there was no reimbursement from the city, so that actually came out of the restaurant's profits. So
I remember correctly, you were not a fan of that 8% to begin with,
I
but
was not, but I was overvoted.
you
I
were
just
overvoted.
It's like math. I'm like, don't make people do math. People hate to do
Yeah.
math. But
Yep.
Speaking of math, so you budgeted for 100% participation, and assuming that you don't hit more than 20 like you're predicting, what happens with the part of that budget, the 80%? Is that going to end up in the? I know that last night they were trying to figure out like the two big buckets, the city bucket and the Dayton businesses bucket. So where is that coming from?
So we get $126,000 from the CARES Act. We put $55,000 into economic development
Okay.
on these programs.
Right.
So that's in my economic development budget. So what happens with that? It's a good point. I'm assuming the total cost of the program is around $1,400. My best guess maximum is around $4,000 that we'll do. So there's $10,000 left over. What can we do then? It's in the economic development budget. If we have more people who need financial assistance grants, we could use it to do 10 more of those.
Okay.
I think there's a possibility that all 40 awards may not be applied for. So it depends to where we're at. We might be able to have an opportunity to use this for something else, like an event in the summer. So it's money that's in our budget. So
has there been discussion of a round two of grants if it's not completely fulfilled, but the people who did need it and are still in need can maybe go for round two or anything like that?
We've talked about the possibility of that.
Okay.
One of the things we talked about last night, Jeff Volter brought it up and I brought it up. The city also has significant costs associated with COVID. And some holes in our budget. And so we can either use the federal funds to fill those holes, or the taxpayers can fill those holes. So one thing that we did, and we'll be doing it, we suspended liquor license. We extended your liquor license for another year. That puts about a $20,000 hole in our budget. So we're going to look at using some of the CARES Act for that. So that helps a lot of businesses, anyone that has a liquor license, that helps them. So we've gone through and done a lot. So that's something that will be on the agenda for next Tuesday during the regular council meeting. Didn't want to bring that up last night with everything else that was going on, but that's another thing that's out there that can be used it for. So that's that. So, I mean, we're within the limits of a small town. We're trying to do the best we can to help out our businesses. So all of them. So, so the dining dollars will help the restaurants. Are following the state on suspending local listing, extending local liquor licenses for another year. That will help. That's an important cost that they don't have to pay. And yeah, the dining dollars. So that's kind of what our program kind of looks like. So
I think an event during the summer would be an awesome idea because of everybody being cooped up for so long and looking to be cooped up even longer, because now there's this variant that they keep throwing out there that's scaring the crap out of all the older people.
I understand.
So
So
I think that something, you know, even if we like put together something and invite a bunch of the food trucks to come in and you know, have our own little taste of Dayton again type of thing, and even invite other people to come down with food trucks.
yeah,
So,
that's kind of on the agenda. The one thing I want to get before that, I took a bunch of there. Kevin is not a member of this board until he does the oath. So Kevin, are you ready to do the oath? All right, I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Sure. Oh. Do I need to put my hand on a Bible or anything?
I just put it up in the air. So can you see it and read it? So go ahead.
I, Kevin Wright,
Do solemnly swear that I will
swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and I will faithfully execute,
and that I will faithfully execute,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the office of Dayton Main Street Board Member,
the office of Dayton Main Street Board Member,
according to law.
according to law.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I, being a citizen of this state,
I, being a citizen of this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state
within this state
or out of it,
or out of it,
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I acted as a second
nor have I acted as second
in carrying a challenge,
carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted
nor aided or assisted
any person thus offending.
any person thus offending.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Have you ever done the oath of office for the state of Kentucky?
I'm assuming that was fake.
No, that is completely real. That's completely real.
Really, about halfway through, I thought you were messing with me. That's why I put my hand down.
No, that's
true.
That is 100% true.
Wow.
We had a problem with dueling. We put this in the oath. We no longer have a problem with dueling. It's a very effective mechanism. So yeah, everybody anytime anybody comes in new and we think they haven't done this before, you're in a hot. Well, why don't you introduce yourself, Kevin? We're lucky to have Kevin here.
Sure, I want to hear other people's introductions too, so I get to know everybody. But yep, I'm everybody. I'm Kevin, Kevin Wright. I am a resident of Bellevue. My wife and 2 kids and I live in Bellevue. We've been there since 2012. And we live at the corner of Grandview and Ward up by the elementary school. And we have a son who's 8 and a daughter who's 5, both who go to school across the street. Originally from Southern Missouri, and work brought me up, my wife and I, before we were married, up to Cincinnati back in like 2005. And my background is in urban planning. I was executive director of the Walnut Hills Redevelopment Foundation, a community development corporation in Walnut Hills for about 7 years. We did a lot of Main Street focused work on McMillan and Woodburn up there, if you guys know that area. And then I started my own company called Yard & Company in 2018. And most recently, we bought the Old Bud's Garage at the corner of Main and 6th, which is where I'm sitting right now. And our office is here, and we also have launched a little co-working / rentable event space here. Is that a pretty good summary, Bob?
That is a pretty good summary. No,
Okay.
We're very lucky to have Kevin here. One of my first Main Street meetings about 4 years ago, we brought Yard & Company in and did a presentation. And I've known Kevin for a long time. Even was on his cable access TV show one time, which is very famous. In urban development in Cincinnati, Kevin Wright's cable access TV show goes down in the Hall of Fame. But
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What?
What are you talking about? What cable TV show are you talking about?
Didn't you have you had a cable access TV show?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Either that or I blocked that out of my memory. I don't think I.
Okay.
Maybe you're thinking of somebody else.
All right. Maybe I did. Maybe that wasn't LeMaster. Okay. Maybe it was Ryan. How was you? Or maybe you were on, maybe Ryan had one and you were on with me. I just remember making that.
Oh, maybe. That might have been it.
That was Ryan. Blanking on his name. He went to Korea. I lost track of him.
Oh, Randy. Yeah.
Randy. Sorry, Randy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We were on Randy's show together. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Fame. So Nathan, why don't you go next since you're next on my screen?
Hey, I'm Nathan. Nice to meet you, Kevin. I'm glad to have you. After hearing your background, that's an excellent resource for us. My partner, Jacoba Wells, and I moved here. Was this last year?
2019.
2019. After purchasing the building at 526, we were driving through town a day after being in Cincinnati for a concert. Had never been to Dayton before, and just kind of dug the vibe and saw the opportunities. And that building happened to be for sale, and we bought it, and then immediately started renovating it. The apartment upstairs was finished a year ago, January. And then luckily we met the taqueria folks, and we started putting in a commercial kitchen down there. And we bought a little house here in town, and then we also purchased the church over on 4th Street, or 5th Street. There's one on 4th Street as well, but we purchased the one on 5th. And that's our next big project once we get the kitchen done. We're hoping to renovate it and bring it up to date. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just old. And then we've got some various plans for it. One big thing we'd like to do is run some sort of community center operation out of it. My partner and I, she and I are both public library backgrounds. I worked in marketing for the public library back in our hometown of Bloomington, Indiana, and she's a librarian. And so we want to try to develop something in there for the community, free stuff for the community, educational, enrichment, cultural, that kind of thing. But then when it's not doing that, we're hoping to run some other kinds of schemes out of there, like renting it out for weddings and possibly co-work and some other kinds of applications. So that's kind of our game here.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Laura?
Hey, I'm Laura Stanberry. I've been down in Dayton since 2003, and I love Dayton. A friend drugged me to the Main Street meetings because he said that, they were so bad off for help that they were about to be shut down. And sadly, he has passed 2 years ago. This coming weekend, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Super Bowl weekend, or 2 weekends. Anyway, I'm married and I have 3 girls, all adults. My youngest, though, is ASD, and so she lives with me. And I just, like I said, I love it down here. Oh, and the oath thing is true. If you work the election polls, you'll have to take the same thing where you swear you have not fought a duel or assisted in a second. It is hilarious, but it's very true.
Well, and I was going to say in 2020, that actually made sense for election watching, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kevin,
It's a long day. You have to be there
Yeah.
by 5:15 in the morning, and then you don't leave until everything is over and you packed everything up and you have to take it back down to the election place in Newport.
Yeah, I've done that before. It's a lot of work. It's cool.
also
It
on
is,
the
but the
board,
people you
not
meet
here-
are really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Well, nice to meet you.
Who else is on the board? Erin Fox. She's one of the co-owners of Body of Art Tattoo, a couple doors down from Alejandra. Next to, she owns the building with the big Dayton mural on it now. Alejandra bought that. And also Jay Banks from Native Brand, like 5'11". He now has a storefront in Newport on the Levee. He started off here, got him set up with Justin Otto to do a little kiosk one Christmas. And then he did so well and they liked him so much, they gave him one of the empty storefronts to use during the construction phase. So he's right across from the boxcars. And so he's doing really well there, and he owns the building and lives there. And I'm trying to get on his butt to rent his space out. But yeah, so that's who we have. I assume they're busy tonight, so that's fine. So we now have a quorum. So if we want to vote on anything, we could. I do want to start thinking. I'll throw an idea that we've been kicking around the city building. We have a lot of businesses that do fried chicken, Galactic, Purple Poulet, Hometown Heroes. Even the Chinese place does a really darn good chicken wing. They're kind of slightly famous for that. I don't know what we have for Trotta's, but another business we have, if you're familiar with Sofa Burn, they're a recording studio and record label and have some pretty good bands on their rosters, the Tillers, Jeremy Purnell and others. And the owner owns 3 buildings in the district. So I've been kicking around the idea of the Dayton, Kentucky Fried Chicken Festival, where we make Dayton small and Kentucky Fried Chicken Festival bigger, so we could have, just kind of thing, kind of do some roots thing. Also last year before the pandemic, Rock the Block, which is a program I know Kevin's probably familiar with, but they've done it at Latonia, and they wanted to come to Dayton, Kentucky. And they were looking at coming to Dayton, Kentucky last year. But unfortunately, COVID hit around this time and done that. So I'm monitoring like everybody is. Hopefully, as the vaccines roll out, the number of infections drop and we can approach back to normal. And trying to judge, looking, here we are in January, what it's going to look like in June, July, or August, is hard. But I'd like to be hopeful that maybe we could have an outdoor festival. And a great place to do it is Berry Street, because we have the park there. You may want to say, well, don't you want to close down Fairfield? No, because it's since it's a state highway, That gets very painful getting an encroachment permit from the state. They would allow us to do it on a Sunday, but if we wanted to do something on a Saturday, that gets a lot harder. But if we did the 500 or 600 blocks of Berry Street, it would be right at the corner there. And since that is a city street and we have cross streets and it's really easy for police and fire to move around, if we close one or two of those blocks, it would be much easier to do. And we have the access of the town center to use there. So that's that. So that's something I'd like us to start thinking about. Or any other ideas you have for some kind of events we could do. We're trying
I
to
like that
talk-
fried chicken idea.
so,
Cincinnati's doing a wing week this week, so
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
nice.
it'd just be kind of a fun way to do it. We could bring in some food trucks if they do. If they have fryers on them and want to do some fried chicken, we could probably extend it to some barbecue, but kind of play off that whole Kentucky cuisine thing. Barbecue, fried chicken. If somebody wants to do a hot brown, that's fine, but kind of be honest, that's an awful sandwich. I just do not like it. Open face with Mornay sauce. What the? I don't get that.
They-
And
we eat
that's
hot
funny,
browns in
Ken.
Kentucky. I thought hot browns were like a St. Louis thing. Am I
No.
thinking of
Oh, no, it
something?
originated in Louisville, Kentucky at a hotel called the Brown.
The Brown
I
Hotel,
stayed there.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep,
So yeah.
yep, that's where it originated from.
So the hot brown in St. Louis came down the Ohio River and got on the steamboats, and that's why you have them there. So, but like I said, whatever, trying to do that. What reminds me of one other thing, just kind of, this is kind of free flowing. I'm watching our time here. We'll probably wrap up in a couple minutes. We're looking at some food truck legislation. We currently do not allow food trucks. We don't have anything in there. We're looking very closely at the Bellevue ordinance and doing that, so we can do that. So I just want to let you know, we know that you pulled a food truck in there. You view that as an event permit, but we had somebody who wanted to set up a food truck in the old IGA parking lot and wanted to be there more than just a couple days, kind of like what Taqueria Nagal did. We're kind of breaking our rules, letting Taqueria Nagal set up there all the time. But the cool thing about being a city is you don't have to follow your own rules. So, it's, it's good to be the king. So, but we looked at this and we said, wait a second, if we're doing it in our parking lot, it's hard to justify saying, no, somebody couldn't do it in their parking lot or at their business. So that will probably come up, not at next week's meeting. We got a couple more discussion on it, but we'll come up in early March, and then to be voted on in early April. So that's it. And if that's a problem and we need to vote on it faster, let me know. But at our next meeting, I'll come back and I should have a copy of that ordinance, and I'd like you guys to look at it and give it your blessing, like you did with the Dayton dollars and the COVID financial relief things last year. So, so that was helpful last night in the discussions, because they asked me, has Main Street seen this? I'm like, yep, you did. And we discussed it. So I'm going to wrap this up for the good of the cause. Does anybody else have anything? Kevin, I really like to be respectful of time. I say an hour meeting, I want to keep it. I know you've got family to go back to. Everybody's got their own things, and I've got to go to Planet Fitness. That's why I'm dressed like I am right now. So that's underneath here is some workout pants and tennis shoes ready to go. So if nothing else, thank you all for coming out tonight. Want to give us a motion to adjourn, Laura? Oh, yours.
Yeah, sorry. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, let's do our first vote with Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Aye.
Thank you.
thanks, guys. Nice to meet you. Looking forward to being involved.
And Laura, I have a recording of this, so we're good.
Okay.